If you want to grab our men's lifestyle supplement and male advantage ebook, all links are in the bio. Are you trying to win life at 22 years old? Tap into the progression bias. Understand that 22 is pretty much meaningless. All the stuff you do at 22, it's not that great. It's not that great. The women you sleep with, the life you have, the parties you go to, whatever, they'll be absolutely shocking compared to the standards that you can hit. If you realize the progression bias, say, okay, I'm going to put the work in now. I'm going to make those temporary sacrifices because I know when I'm 32, 10 years time, I'll look back and say, thanks 22-year-old me. All the shit that I was focused on back then, although I wanted it, I knew I wouldn't in 10 years time because I put the work in, because I worked on my body, because I invested my funds correctly. I'm now a multi-millionaire with 10% body fat. This is fucking fantastic. And now the women that I'm dating are 10 times better than the women that I used to date. Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video, I want to talk about the progression bias. Now, I've spoken about it at length in other videos, and I think you guys are quite familiar with what it is, but I've never done an exact video on it and really broken it down. So, in short, if anybody's not familiar with the progression bias or needs a second reminder, it's basically you believe what you want right now is what you'll want forever. And I remember when we were kids growing up, so many young people would say to me, what's up with old people? Why are they so weird? Oh, my mum and dad, they dress so weird. When I don't get why they do it. When I'm older, I'm going to be a trendy mum. I'm going to be a really handsome dad. I'm going to stay in shape. These people, like, by the time I'm 50, I'm still going to look at... These people are like 29, 30 years old now. They're still like people that I know. They look like dog shit already. And it's because they had 2 or 3 kids and they were just, instead, I'm going to be sipping wine at a rooftop bar. It's going to be lovely, My kids are going to be well behaved. They're cleaning up shit. They're cleaning up sick. Their kids knocking drinks over. And they're just like, I can't even go out anymore. What's the point in doing my makeup? I'm always in the house cleaning up these fucking kids, I'm looking after them. What's the point in dressing really well? I don't have the money for it anymore. I need to spend it on these kids. They start to realize, oh, right, the things that I valued aren't what I value now. And if you can do this, okay, it's like having a futuristic crystal ball. Everybody is a genius in hindsight. The amount of people I say, what I should have done is... I say, oh, this mistake happened in my life. Like, I kind of wish I didn't do that now. And they go, you're silly, really, because what I would have done. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You don't even have your own business. Yet you're telling me what I would have done in your business. Like, in hindsight, everybody is a fucking genius. Now, the progression bias is almost like your futuristic ball to hindsight. It almost allows you to tap into the future and see what's coming next. Like, I sit there on a daily basis. 28 years old, just entered the first year of kind of the male advantage, I would say, where I'm just starting to come into my own, got a bigger frame, I feel like I look more masculine, I feel like things are going well, money's up, things are going great. Now lockdown's over in the UK, we can all go to beer gardens, get drunk, whatever. What do I want to do? Well, I'd quite like to go out, I'd quite like to be around some beautiful women, I'd quite like to have a crack with the boys, enjoy myself, whatever, and have a couple of beers. But the progression bias is right there. The progression bias is telling you you're 28, this is what you should be doing. This is fun, this is what I want to do. But then I have this other detached mind. I have 2 versions of Chris. I have 28-year-old Chris, who's just the physical embodiment of me. And then I just have this like kind of guy at the back of my mind who's like 40 years old, who I'm yet to meet yet. And he kind of sits there and says, it's not what I would do. It's not what I want to do either. If you do this right now, you're going to fuck up me. You're going to ruin my chances. And he's older and wiser. Like, he knows the crack. So I listen to this guy. And he says, hey, you've put all this work into your fitness. If you go out and drink this summer, you're going to ruin it. And then where are you going to be? Well, you're going to be like 6 months to a year behind. You're going to have to play catch up again. Like, you've got yourself you've bulked all the way up to like 22% body fat, Chris. You're down to like 13, 14% now. Looking good, 6-packs on show. What do you want to do? Do you want to go out all summer and enjoy it and show off? Or do you actually want to keep that and build something great so that when you are saying, hey, look, the only supplement I took during my cut was my men's lifestyle supplement. Oh, yeah, that's a good point, yeah. Yeah, let's tie the two together. You know, the better shape you're in, the more followers you're going to get. The more like, and you just have this older voice in your head, and you can really tap into that. And it's a little trick I've used since I was young. When I was 18, I used to ask myself, what will 30-year-old me want? And now I'm 28, I'm like, what will 40-year-old me want? You know, or 37, the male advantage, like the actual peak of the male advantage is something I'm really looking forward to. You know, I've got big plans for that year. And that's a question I always ask myself is, what will the older version of me want? In 10 years' time, will I want what I want today? You know, I really want to purchase something. I really want to purchase that new car, okay? Because at the moment, I'm sat in here, I'm working every day, working on my business, I'm putting all my money into things that are going to grow for the future, which is great. But at the same time, there's a little thing saying to me, Chris, you know, you could attract some women. Oh, Chris, wouldn't it be great if you had that flashy car? Everyone would think you're really successful. This is the younger version of me. This is 28-year-old Chris. Then 40-year-old Chris goes, mate, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because the car you buy today in 10 years' time will be old and shit. So what's the point in buying it today to get that luxury? Now there's how long's a piece of string, right? But there's a point, there's a cut-off point to this. You know, if you were 60 years old and you're like, I've never bought anything in my life because I wanted to always have money. Well, then, you know, you go to old age, you die, whatever, and you go, well, that was kind of pointless, actually. I might as well have enjoyed it at some point. But teens and 20s and potentially some of the first couple years of your early 30s, it all just means nothing. Like, what you want in those early years is so stupid compared to what you will plan out in the future, especially as a man, especially as our lives don't start until we're 30. So anybody who's in their teens or 20s right now saying, yeah, but I'd love to go out, I love to party. Yeah, you do now, but when you're 32 years old, will you love to party? Oh, probably not. You know, if you think you do, you're crazy. Okay, if you think you do, you're crazy, because you probably won't. You'll probably be in the gym. You'll probably be getting up at 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning instead of lying in bed till 6 p.m. and then finally going downstairs just to pick up your Domino's order at the door from Deliveroo. A few free ads there for you guys. But you just won't be. You just won't be doing that, okay? And most people know that. Like, I sit here at 28 now and I think all the materialistic things that I'm chasing, when I'm on my deathbed, will I give a shit about those? No. When I'm 60, will I care about that? No, I'll probably be traveling the world, spending time with my grandkids. You know, when I'm 40 years old, will I care about all that stuff? Maybe not to the same extent, okay? The penthouse, the 3-bedroom penthouse with beautiful views, it might not be it for me. I might want a house in the country, way away from all the craziness and whatever. But just knowing that in the back of your head allows you to plan for the future. It allows you to set it up. But the most important one in terms of the progression bias is the women, the partying, the alcohol, and the unnecessary expenditure. They're the ones that derail men the most, because that's what they think they want right now, but they don't. Like, I've bought the supplements, the lighting this year, the camera, the tripod that goes with it, the computer, the screen, the labeling machine. You know, all of this costs money. When the boxes come out, the extra 20k that I'm going to spend in the next couple of months. I mean, guys, you're looking at like since I came back to where I am now, you know, where I went, okay, double down on business, keep bills low, whatever, let's move out of London while COVID's going on, no point, let's double down. You're going to be looking at like a 40k investment. I could have had a mortgage and a nice car. You know, not in London, whatever, but you know, I could have had a mortgage, like a 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom house somewhere like around here or whatever, or somewhere, you know, where the prices are a bit lower. But I could have had that. I could have had a house and a nice car, like a nice BMW or Mercedes. But I know, because I got the foresight of the progression bias to know that that car won't mean shit, and this isn't the house that I want to live in. You know, the house that I purchased, I mean, won't be the house that I want to live in when I get to a certain age where I've got, you know, where I'm in a better position or where I'm older. And I know that these are all short-term executions as such to get a woman into my life, or get more sex, or get other guys going, damn, you've done well for yourself, you're really successful, or just boost my confidence for like a year. Like, I know what all this shit is. Like, it preys on you and it makes you want to spend more. Like, it works on a big scale with mortgages and cars and marriage and whatever, but then it also works on a small scale with like a pair of shoes. If you can just push all that to the side and be like, those shoes do not make any difference to my life right now. Oh, you look good in those new shoes, you're going to get more women. Yeah, great. What does it matter at 22 years old, guys? Are you trying to win life at 22 years old? Tap into the progression bias. Understand that 22 is pretty much meaningless. All the stuff you do at 22, it's not that great. It's not that great. The women you sleep with, the life you have, the parties you go to, whatever, they'll be absolutely shocking compared to the standards that you can hit. If you realize the progression bias, say, okay, I'm going to put the work in now. I'm going to make those temporary sacrifices because I know when I'm 32, 10 years time, I'll look back and say, thanks, 22-year-old me. All the shit that I was focused on back then, although I wanted it, I knew I wouldn't in 10 years time because I put the work in, because I worked on my body, because I invested my funds correctly. I'm now a multi-millionaire with 10% body fat. This is fucking fantastic. And now the women that I'm dating are 10 times better than the women that I used to date. The parties that I'm going to, I can't even believe the level of clientele that are here, or the venue that I'm at, or the place that I've ended up at. And the new house that I bought is 10 times better than the old one. Like, everything just upgrades if you're willing to tap into that progression bias. But being 21 years old and thinking we have to go out and party tonight. It's Saturday, we have to go out and party. If I don't go out tonight, it's going to ruin my life. 30-year-old you will look back and go, you fucking idiot. That's all you have to remember. Just tap into that mindset. Get a crystal ball in the form of the progression bias so that you're not sat there with hindsight going, shit, I knew what I should have done there. Like, now that I'm older, what I should have done is, you don't want to say that. You don't want to say that. Like, even I've got that on a small scale. Like, when I was younger, I used to go out quite a lot. Once I hit like 22, I just stopped. I just didn't go out. So it's only 6 years, guys, that it's taken me to get to this point now, from that point. But from 18, which I think is probably the first real age where you can really act on stuff and make a difference in the world, like 18 to like 22, that's 4 years wasted. If I were to add 4 years onto where I am now in my business, oh my God, I couldn't even tell you. Obviously, yeah, naturally it got deleted. I had to start again, so it might be there at this point. But those extra 4 years, if I hadn't spent the money, look, whether it got deleted or not, if I hadn't gone out and got drunk, if I hadn't taken all these girls on dates, if I hadn't been more obsessed with sex than working on myself, if I had avoided like buying new clothes apart from the real cheapest ones, just saved as much money as possible, stop making dead-end purchases. Oh, there's a new video game out, I'm going to buy it just because I'm bored. Like, if I had just accumulated all that money, I'd probably be able to put my hands on an extra, obviously when you're young, it's not a lot of money, but an extra 30k now. That I wasted just going out, spending on shit, lads holidays, like 2 or 3 holidays to stupid places, alcohol, whatever, cars that I didn't really need when I was young, but I thought, I might upgrade and get a better one. The amount of fuel, tax, MOT, new tires, all going on that car when I could have easily walked, 30, 40k, easy. Now imagine going, hey, Ethereum's kind of taking off right now. I might just put 20k into it. Synthetics and Sol are kind of taking off, 10-10. So now you've got 20k Ethereum extra, you've got 10k Sol, you've got 10k Synthetics. All because you had the progression bias. And you tapped into it when you were young and you thought, I know I want these things now, but I know I won't in the future. Now it's killing me, it's really hurting me, but I know it will pay off long term. And right now you would be sat there with a 40k extra fund towards what you've already got, and that might make you an extra 3-4 million, which I think is well worth the sacrifice and well worth the progression bias kind of foresight moving forwards, and the friends saying, why don't you ever come out? Why don't you ever come here? Or, put it this way, if you were even a virgin up to the age of 30, but then you were worth fucking 20 million and you go and date a model and she's a straight 10 with a great personality, really intelligent, great sense of humor, and you fall in love. Which is better? I think I'd rather be the guy with the beautiful woman who's actually a very good woman as well, than be the guy who gets to 30, doesn't really have anything because he's partied like crazy, he slept with 200 women, thinks he's the man, but they're all like 5s and 6s out of 10. Think forward, guys, always. If you want to grab our men's lifestyle supplement and male advantage ebook, all links are in the bio.